Welcome to another video, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video, share this video, comment on this video. Let's jump right in. Listen, when I heard about this story and I heard how it went down, I gave a lot of credit to the son for his actions once, inside of that store and he fired on the guy. However, upon learning that the guy retreated and his mother asked him to finish the guy off, I was like, wait, but isn't that murder though? Like, the threat was already over, as far as I can tell, right? Because there's nothing mentioned, the guy had a pistol in the car and he was probably going for the pistol. There's no knowledge that he was armed, so maybe, he went to retreat to take cover and then return fire. Nothing like that. She wanted the guy done off. She wanted him finished. So, isn't that murder? Now, comparing this to the Travis Rudolph case, which is the first thing that came to my mind, I'm like, this guy had a situation where 4 people attacked him. 2 of them had pistols, right? When he initially came out, he was unarmed, right? His brother came, tried to help him out after he was getting jumped. They started whooping on him and his brother, trading blows. He finally gets a chance to run into the house, grab his rifle, come out. They approach him in a car. 2 of them got their pistols. He fires, kills one, injures another. He's in prison until he gets, trial or whatever, and then he's freed. So I was expecting this to go pretty much the same way because the guy was unarmed, right? Whether they got in the fight or not is irrelevant, and I'm not here to defend him hitting the woman, obviously, but the fact remains. Y'all got into some sort of altercation. She was getting whooped, Carlisha, I guess, for having a smart mouth. Maybe, I don't know, right? Because the video they show, it's like, what happened at the beginning though? How did this all unfold, right? They show you a short clip of the guy threatening to hit her. Well, first telling her, get your food. Like, she had antagonized him in some sort of way. They tell her, listen, just get your food and let's get this over with. And she's still blah, 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 blah. Right? He stalls off on her. Boom, 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 hits her. The son comes in, shoots him. Bow. He runs. Then you tell the son, go finish him off. Instead of at that point saying, yo, we need to call the police now. Let them know we just shot somebody. Then she tries to get somebody else in the establishment shot. And you let this person go. Here's the initial report.
Bond set at $3 million for the 35-year-old West Pullman mother who, according to prosecutors, got into a fierce verbal argument with a Southside restaurant patron. This was Sunday night while they were waiting in line for food. The situation quickly escalating into a deadly encounter.
During that altercation, the defendant began texting her son.
Cook County prosecutors describing how Carlisha Hood summoned her 14-year-old son, who was out in the parking lot late Sunday night at this Maxwell Street Express restaurant at 116th and South Halstead, and then things started heating up.
The argument between the victim and the defendant turned physical when the victim punched the defendant in the head approximately 3 times.
The store surveillance video capturing the moment the 14-year-old sees his mother getting punched, investigators say, and that's when the teen allegedly pulls a gun from his pocket.
The co-defendant fired a shot at the victim inside of Maxwell's, striking the victim in the back. As the victim fled, the co-defendant followed him and fired.
Do you see her here trying to take the gun from him? Do you know that she's trying to take it to go back into the store? Why would she take it to go back into the store if the guy already fled? She wants to air somebody else out. but you let this person go. I put money on it, I guarantee. If it was a dad and his son that had done this, they would be sitting in prison. I guarantee it. Conservatives already consider Chicago a throwaway because they're soft on crime.
Fired additional shots. The defendant instructed her son, the co-defendant, to continue to shoot and kill the victim.
The 35-year-old Hood, according to prosecutors, ordering her son to shoot another restaurant patron who thought the initial verbal dispute was funny.
You heard it, right? You heard that. She wanted somebody else shot, not just the person that hit her. Now, again, what was the context of the argument? The fact that they got into a physical altercation, all right, maybe shouldn't have happened, right? Because these people are supposedly strangers. But I have seen things like this transpire before. And these women feel like they can just say anything to a man, disrespect him, and everything is going to be all rainbows, marshmallows, and sugar plums. Did the guy act inappropriately? Yes, but in the context of what happened, I think it was murder. Once she had been shot and fled, if I was a DA, she would have got prosecuted, her and her son. Her son for a lesser charge, obviously, because he's following his mother's instructions. Where's his father, by the way? Where that boy father at? Late at night, going to some, place in the South Side to go get food. Why aren't you at home making your son a meal? Why would you go into a store and get in an altercation with a random person? All very good questions. And I know the answer to all of them.
But the teen wrestling the gun away from his mother. And thankfully, no more shots fired, but the damage was done. The 32-year-old male victim succumbing to his injuries. Mother and son now facing first-degree murder charges and a host of other offenses. We'll have more coming up at 6 o'clock.
First-degree murder and a host of other charges. And they get dropped? How is that possible? Let's see. Now, this guy is some type of social justice warrior. I need you to listen carefully to what he's saying, because apparently he played a big role in what transpired of the charges being dropped. Apparently, right? This is being broadcast from the news. So it seems like he was able to exert some sort of influence based on empathy from the video that he uploaded. But as I said, it's a short clip. You don't have any idea what she was saying before this whole thing started, because the first frame only shows her at the counter, right? And the camera angle is this way. But you could see her talking, and she's not communicating with anybody, right, from the restaurant, like the owners or whoever is back there. She is doing this, and then you see like a hand or something behind. So something is being said there that we don't know. I don't know if anybody else from inside the store has come forward to give more context, but I need you to listen to this guy carefully. Listen to what he says.
Which everyone around the city of Chicago was like, oh my God, why would that mother do something like this? Then the video surfaced. I posted the video. It got over 31 million views. And folks all over the country said that this is a case of self-defense. Let me first.
First of all, it was not self-defense. He was defending his mother. He wasn't the one being threatened. Obviously, there was more to this than has been said. Because if you could text your child to come in the store with a gun, you could obviously see that it was going somewhere, which, I mean, supposedly you would not want it to go. But rather than trying to dial it back, you dialed it up, right? Instead of trying to turn it down, you turned it up, which is why we have the result that we have. And a man getting killed. So then where is the law and the justice system to step in and say, okay, that first shot was fine, but everything else that happened afterwards is grounds for charges?
First, just say that I am disheartened that people were there, especially men that were there, that watched this happen, and it had to be a 14-year-old boy to save his mother.
So other random men are supposed to come to this woman's rescue because she could not stop running her mouth and arguing back and forth with this guy. Is that what you're telling me? Two people get into an argument who I have no idea who they are. I'm supposed to put my life at risk to stop it. Not even the owners of the place. You're saying that the people there, the other customers, are supposed to do that. Does this guy look like he would step in and do anything? This social justice warrior on the screen? He looked like he wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight.
Where are we as a community if situations like this can happen and a woman can be severely attacked and no one does anything? There were several.
Does it matter if it's a woman? No, it does not. How many of you remember being in high school? My high school experience was probably different than a lot of Americans because I went to high school under the UK system, right? So under the UK system, high school age it runs from 11 through 16, right? You come in at what's called standard 1, standard 2, standard 3, standard 4, standard 5, right? Then you leave that, you go to form 1, form 2, form 3, form 4, form 5, right? When you come into those forms, usually you're like 11 years old. So you have a school that basically has 11 through 16. Now, especially if they're older kids, the higher forms, the senior classmen that have been kept back, maybe 17, maybe more. If you were a senior classman and you see a freshman, 11 years old, getting harassed by somebody that's in the same form as you, maybe one form down, does it matter if that person is a boy or a girl getting harassed for you to step in and do something? Not for me, it wasn't. But you are talking about a situation where there's so many wild cards, so many unknowns. The guy could have been strapped. He could have been the one that's strapped. Let's not forget, it's Chicago. Chirac. Right? He could have had that concealed carry case, you know, the one that you slide right into the front of your waistband. It's really flat. He could have had a compact there. You rush him, he pull that shit out and light you up. But you talking about, oh, there were men there? What's that supposed to mean? All of a set of people minding their business, not being uncivilized mutts in an establishment at night. But they're supposed to get into it with this guy. With the rate of crime in Chicago. They're supposed to make themselves into a victim. Now, of course, I'm not excusing the guy hitting the woman. Shouldn't have happened. But what happened before, right? You have to ask yourself the question, what was it that led to that outcome? It cannot be nothing. It had to be something. I mean, even in the worst of cities, there has to be some sort of provocation for these things to happen. Even people getting caught in crossfires, you have gunfire and intended for somebody else. There was something happening when that person got caught in that crossfire. I mean, the only time I know people fire guns for like no damn reason is target practice and, well, 4th of July. You know, people be shooting guns up in the air and whatever, but somebody just randomly go and spray a street, you know, it just doesn't happen. Somebody's the intended target.
Other people in the establishment, and everyone said it wasn't their problem, and they backed up. And it took her own son, 14 years old, to step up and, you know, put it into this situation.
Well, as I said, when I first heard this story, I was like, you know what? Good for that young boy for, you know, stepping up to protect his mother. But then, you know, I asked the hard questions, right? Which is what most people do not do. They inhale the news in through one nostril, out the other, or, you know, in through the eyes, out through the ears. However they do it, I don't know. But I like to ask questions. First of all, why are you not at home preparing a meal for your son? Also, first of all, where's that boy's father? How is he ending up being your protector? Also, first, what the hell was the argument about? On top of that, the charges get dropped and now you want to sue. Listen, man, the Travis Rudolph case, he was put through the ringer. Had his freedom taken away from him, was facing long-term prison. Now, if this had happened here, I'd been like, wow, you know, well, at least they got the first part right. Maybe there were extenuating circumstances, and maybe the son could, you know, get off, but her ordering him to basically finish that guy off, I can't condone that. Because these same people are the ones that if a white cop ends up killing an unarmed black man, they'll be out in the streets protesting and burning shit up. This guy on the screen too. They be the same ones. I guarantee it. They will be the same ones hitting the streets if a white cop shoots a black unarmed person. No justice, no peace. Now, am I okaying a white cop shooting an unarmed person? Obviously not. But I'm saying, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Is it not? Right? Me personally, I think police should only shoot people that are armed. Right? Don't tell me that this guy is not armed and you see him running towards you and you think he's a threat. Then you're just a pussy and you don't belong in the force. That's how I feel. You don't belong there. If you're white and you're scared of black folks, you also don't belong there. Right? You gotta have nerves of steel and, you know, I don't know. I don't think a lot of these cops have it. They don't have what it takes. Some of them do, but it seems like some of them don't. But anyway, that's my take on it, man. I was, especially since the Travis Rudolph case was resolved just a short time ago, and then seeing this, and I'm like, all right, they wanted for murder. Okay, this and this happened. Okay, yeah, all right. I can see why they're making the charges. And all of a sudden, you have a social justice warrior uploading a video. And it's like, What happened? The charges, like, you had people there at the restaurant. You had the proprietors. Like, what new evidence are you talking about? What new evidence? I didn't see any new evidence. Anyhow, until next time, folks, I'm out. Peace.